Good evening and thanks for joining us on Kwara TV main bulletin, reaching you from our studio here in Apata, Yakuba. You can watch us on Star Times 113, Free TV 502. You can also follow us live on Facebook. We are also available on YouTube. Hi, I'm Busayo. However, I'm not alone. I have my colleagues in the studio. Tosin.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tosin Adioye. From the languages desk.
Yakubalozi balwe de amfani china kukicha kone ya la barish bia daga musa jikin kwara na chief Apata Yakuba na Free TV Kuba bisitron chat ba ti start time bisitron chat ba te at Kwara TV eto atun ya Facebook na ma line lo zoni bia na suna me kolo jia ya
Ekale àsìkò iṣẹ́ látàárọ̀ àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn ni àmútọ̀yìn wá láti ìkànnì móhùnmáwòrán tìpínlẹ̀ Kwara èyí tó fìkàlẹ̀ sí Apata Yakuba nílùú Ìlọrin. Muhammad Jamiu Alapo ní orúkọ mi, ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí ṣe wá èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì láfi ṣèdè ìròyìn ọ̀hún lápadà sọ́dọ̀ Bùsáyọ̀ àti Tósìn.
The federal government has unveiled her comprehensive policy framework aimed at reducing the cost of education for parents, improving learning outcomes, and promoting sustainability in schools through the adoption of reusable high-quality textbooks and the strengthening of quality assurance mechanism. This was contained in a statement signed on Friday by the Director of Press and Public Relations of the Ministry, Boriowo Folashade. The policy, jointly issued by the Minister of Education, Alausa, and the Minister of State for Education, Professor Ahmad, forms part of ongoing reforms to reposition Nigeria's education sector and ease the financial burden on families. The ministers explained that the policy prioritizes the use of standardized, durable textbooks designed to last between 4 and 6 years, while expressly prohibiting the bundling of disposable textbooks with textbooks in schools. The approach is intended to ensure that learning materials can be reused across multiple academic sections, thereby supporting environmental sustainability.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, has charged troops of the 6th Division Nigerian Army to uphold discipline and dedication in the quest to play their pivotal role in safeguarding critical national infrastructure. This is contained in a statement by the Acting Director of Army Public Relations, Colonel Apollonia Hanele. On Friday in Abuja, Hanele quoted his principal as saying this on Friday in Port Harcourt during his maiden operational visit to the 6th Division area of responsibility addressing troops. Shaibu emphasized that their work directly support the nation's economy and key to protecting critical national assets. Shaibu assured the troops that their welfare remained a top priority, as evident in the ongoing interventions, including the construction of additional accommodation, renovation of existing quarters, and improved access to quality education for soldiers' children. He said soldiers will get what they deserve and what is entitled to them. The Chief of Army Staff encouraged troops to heed their officers' guidance, reinforcing the importance of teamwork, discipline, and operational excellence.
The Edo State chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association has announced the suspension of medical services across the state from Saturday 10th of January 2026. This followed the adoption of 2 doctors. The association said the action became necessary in protest against the rising insecurity and repeated attacks on health workers in the state. The NMA chairman in Edo, Dr. Oshage, disclosed this in a statement on Friday, saying doctors in the state could no longer guarantee their safety while discharging their duties. He said the kidnap incident, which occurred on January 1st and 2nd, had further heightened fear among medical practitioners and triggered urgent calls for improved security. One of the adopted victims, identified as Dr. Babatunde Abu, was kidnapped in Hauchi with his adopters reportedly demanding 100 million naira ransom. Osage said the development underscored the vulnerability of doctors in Edo, adding that the association would not resume services until there was a clear commitment to the safety of its members and the release of those kidnapped. The association also urged the Edo State government and security agencies to intensify efforts to secure the release of the victims and prevent reoccurrence across health facilities in the state.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amputon Hessien, has pledged that the 2027 general elections will be free, fair, transparent, and technological driven, declaring that the commission will not tolerate misconduct in the electoral process. Speaking in Lagos at the 2026 induction and strategic retreat of the commission held from January 9 to 10, Amputon said INEC was preparing for a rapidly evolving electoral landscape and must rise to the expectation of Nigerians. He thanked the INEC staff for their performance in the November 2025 Anambra State governorship election, calling it a defining moment early in his tenure. Amputon noted that the road to the 2027 general elections would pass through major electoral milestones, including the February 2026 FCT area council elections and off-cycle governorship polls in Ekiti and Osun State. The INEC chairman outlined 5 non-negotiable pillars that will guide the commission's work: free, fair, credible, transparent, and inclusive elections. He highlighted the role of first-time young voters in 2027, noting that they would demand openness and real-time transparency. On the legal framework, Amputon stressed strict adherence to the law, saying the rule of law is not a suggestion, but an operating system under my leadership.
Muslims have been charged to afford showing off and ensure they do good solely for the sake of Allah. This was the thrust of the sermon delivered by the Imam of Mufat Akambi Mosque, Imam Muhammad Awal Godofu, during the Jumat service. Sulaiman Azan covered the section for Kwara TV News, and his report is presented from our studios.
In his khutbah, Imam Muhammad Awal Godofu emphasized that showing off is a form of minor shirk, capable of destroying one's good deeds. He warned Muslims to desist from such act, noting that only deeds that are done for the sake of Allah will be rewarded and accepted. Imam Godofu charged the congregation to always show gratitude to others and remember that every blessing ultimately comes from Allah. He particularly advised Muslims to always show kindness to others while following the teachings of Islam.
Tẹ́dá yẹn bá dúpẹ́ fún nígbà tóun ti mọ̀ pé nítorí Ọlọ́run lòun fi ṣe kò ní di lọ́wọ́ mọ̀ sí oore mímọ́ nígbà míì gbogbo ẹni tí máa ń ṣe nǹkan rẹ̀ ní tìtorí Ọlọ́run fún ní oore ayé yìí yóò tún wá fún ní títí àlìkìyámọ̀.
The Imam then led the 2 raka obligatory Jumat prayers. Some of the worshippers who spoke with Kwara TV News described the sermon as a wake-up call and a strong warning against displaying one's deeds and accomplishments.
So whatever we do, whether it's acts of worship, whether it's acts of kindness to other people, we should do it for the sake of Allah alone, not seeking gratitude from other people or people seeing us as being nice or kind. You know, the main aim should be fi sabilillah, for the sake of Allah alone.
Whatever we are doing, we should have a pure intention, and we should always have an intention of doing it for God and not for the benefit of woman.
Fear Almighty Allah, and we should be committed to righteousness, to truth, honesty, and fear of Allah.
Teaching us how to behave in life, how to relate in life.
You are watching Kwara State Television News. It's time to go on our first break. To return with more news, please stay tuned.
Thank you very much for staying tuned. Welcome back. Still on the news, the Emir of Ilorin, Dr. Ibrahim Zulu Gambari, has to ban Alhaji Sulaiman Omokayode Abdul Wahab Ajikobi as the 13th Balogun Ajikobi of Ilorin, charging him to uphold the trust bestowed on him by the Ilorin Emirate. Our correspondent, Fatima Rashid, reports that the event was attended by royal fathers, dignitaries, friends, families, and associates of the newly turbaned Balogun Ajikobi. A report.
It was fun, glitz and glamour as dignitaries, family, friends and associates converged on the palace of the Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Zulu Gambari, to witness the turbaning of Alhaji Suleiman Omokayode Abdul Wahab Ajikobi as the 13th Balogun Ajikobi of Ilorin. The Emir of Ilorin in his remarks charged the new Balogun Ajikobi to see his position as a challenge to contribute his quota to the development of the Emirate. The royal father, who used the occasion to pray for peace, growth and development of the Ilorin Emirate and Kwara State as a whole, advised the new Balogun Ajikobi to collaborate with the Daudus and Magajis of his domain to ensure public safety in his jurisdiction. He charged the Daudus, Magajis and Alangwas, as well as other chiefs, to be abreast of happenings in their domains, especially the presence of strangers who are likely to pose security threats to residents. Some dignitaries at the event who spoke to Kwara TV News congratulated the newly turbaned Balogun Ajikobi of Ilorin, urging him to be a unifying factor and nucleus that brings together communities in his domain. They charged him to continue to demonstrate the leadership skills which has endeared all and sundry to him for the growth of the Emirates.
Above all, we pray and we implore him to continue to be loyal to this house. He should please do whatever he can to close the ranks and draw everybody in the family to himself. Forget about who supported him and who never supported him. Now we should be one. So he should foster unity among all everybody in the house.
To encourage people to be loyal to the dynasty of Sheikh Alimi and do everything possible for the development of people of Emirates.
The newly turbaned Balogun Ajikobi of Ilorin, Alhaji Suleiman Omokayode Abdul Wahab Ajikobi, who gave thanks to God for witnessing the day, expressed appreciation to the Emir of Ilorin and pledged to continue to justify the confidence reposed in him. The 13th Balogun Ajikobi, who was before now the district head of Ikpaye, is expected to continue to oversee the Ikpaye district. Fatima Rashid, Kwara TV News.
Resident doctors at the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, Ogun State, have resolved to embark on an indefinite strike following the federal government's persistent failure to fully implement agreements reached with their national body. The industrial action is expected to begin from midnight on January 12, 2026. The president of the Association of Resident Doctors, Olanipekun, in a press conference held on Thursday, said the decision was reached at an emergency general meeting held virtually on Wednesday, January 7, following her review of the Memorandum of Understanding entered into between the Nigeria Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, and the Federal Ministries of Health and Social Welfare, as well as Labor and Employment. Dr. Olanipekun said the strike tagged no implementation, no going back, was in line with the directive earlier issued by NAD after they described as unacceptable delays, ambiguities, and outright non-compliance with agreements covering welfare, remuneration, and professional practice. The president directed all members to hand over patients to consultants before the commencement of the strike, while departments with exceptional or emergency clinical situations were asked to formally notify the association's leadership for guidance. Meanwhile, they displayed plans to stage a peaceful protest within the hospital premises on Monday, January 12th, should their demands remain unmet by the federal government.
Now, scores of residents of Holoka village in Oriri local government area of Oyo State have fled their various homes to seek accommodation elsewhere. The development came few hours after some suspected gunmen killed 5 forest rangers at the Old Hoyo National Park. The park is located in Oloka village in Ogbomoso, geopolitical zone of Oyo State. To be recalled that some gunmen allegedly opened fire and killed 5 forest rangers at the park on Tuesday night. The State Police Command, in its reaction, confirmed the killing of the forest rangers. The Public Relations Officer of Oyo State Police Command, Olayinka Ayanlade, in a statement made available to newsmen, said that the Commissioner of Police, Femi Haruna, has visited the scene of the incident. He added that the CP has ordered the deployment of more personnel to secure the area. However, some residents of Holoka village, where the park is located, have deserted their various houses since the attack. Reports said that despite the promise of more security presence, many of the residents are yet to return to their various houses as at the time of filing this report on Friday.
The federal government has expressed deep sadness over the death of 2 Nigerians in separate violent accidents in the United Kingdom and Canada in the early days of the new year. Speaking through Abdurrahman Balogun, head of media, public relations and protocol unit of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, the chairman CEO, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, described the accident as shocking and deeply troubling. She extended heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of the victims during this difficult time. Dabiri-Erewa also commended the swift responses of the UK Metropolitan Police and the Toronto Police Service and called for thorough, transparent and timely investigations to ensure that justice is served. She further assured that NIDCOM would work closely with the Nigeria High Commissions in the UK and Canada to provide the necessary support to the affected families in line with the Commission's mandate. It was reported that John Temitokwe Wontufo, a 23-year-old Nigerian, was fatally stabbed on New Year Eve in the Lewisham area of London, while in Canada, Irore, a 46-year-old Nigerian, was shot and killed in Toronto on Sunday, January 4th, 2026.
Now back to Kwara State. The Kwara State Governor, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, is saddened by the death of the Executive Director of the National Center for Agriculture and Mechanization, NINCAM, Dr. Abdulgafar Kamal. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Rafiu Ajakaye, the Governor described it as a huge loss, not only to the state but Nigeria at large. He extends his condolences to the family of the deceased, people of the state, management and staff of NINCAM. The Governor prayed Allah to grant Dr. Kamal Al-Jannah Firdaus and give the family the fortitude to bear the irreplaceable loss. Watching Kwara TV News tonight, we'll bring to you more stories from our business desk, sports, and of course from the world scene. Just after this time out, stay with us.
The Board of Trustees, the executives and members of the Ilorin Like Minds Foundation felicitate with one of our highly distinguished and respected members, Alhaji Ibrahim Tajuddin Hajibola Eleku Adeta, on his conferment of honorary doctorate degree in business administration by Alikma University. The foundation heartily rejoices and profoundly congratulates Alhaji Eleku on these monumental achievements and for making us exceedingly proud of your outstanding contributions to community services, Kwara State and national developments that earned you this well-deserved recognition. Indeed, your proven integrity, pursuit of professional excellence, inspirational leadership, patriotic services, and sacrifices that define your exemplary life journey into becoming a globally competitive brand personality are inspiring the young generations. The foundation prayed for continued God's guidance, protection, and prosperity in your strides and strives towards continuing services to humanity, Ilorin Emirate, Kwara State, and the country at large. Once again, congratulations, Alhaji Lukman Abdullahi Atada, President, Ilorin Like Minds Foundation, Barrister Shehu Moyosore, Secretary General, Ilorin Like Minds Foundation, Mohammed Abdulkader, Publicity Director, Ilorin Like Minds.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned to Kwara TV News. Moving on, Nigeria to receive fresh $9.5 million believed to be stolen funds linked to former military head of state Sani Abacha from the United Kingdom's Chelsea. BBC reports that Chelsea has agreed to repatriate the fund to the Nigerian government. The money, described as proceeds of tainted property, is said to be part of the vast fortune stolen by Abacha, who ruled Nigeria between 1993 and 1998. The funds were kept in a bank account in Chelsea and had been tied up in legal proceedings for several years. Although the assets were first discovered during the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan, court challenges tore their return to Nigeria. Progress was made in December 2025 when Chelsea's Attorney General Mark Temple signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with Nigerian authorities to enable the repatriation. The latest agreement built on two earlier arrangements between Chelsea and Nigeria that led to the return of more than $300 million in recovered assets.
Welcome to our business desk. The chairman of the Dangote Industries, Aliko Dangote, has dragged former managing director of the Nigerian Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over corruption claims. Dangote Group Media disclosed this on Friday in a statement. The organization had earlier petitioned the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, to investigate Ahmed for allegedly spending $5 million on his children's secondary education in Switzerland. To be recalled that Dangote withdrew the petition a few days ago, even as the ICPC vowed to continue with its investigation. However, a statement on Friday said that Dangote's petition to the FCC followed the withdrawal of the same petition from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, a strategic decision aimed at accelerating the prosecution process. In the petition signed by the lead counsel, Dr. Oji Onoja, Dangote urged the FCC to investigate allegations of abuse of office and corrupt enrichment against Ahmed and to prosecute him if found culpable.
Still talking business, housewives can now enjoy finger-licking soup as price of pepper continue to drop drastically. Kwara TV News crew, which visited Ikwata Market in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, reports that the commodity, which is an essential ingredient of soup condiments, has reduced in price compared to how much it was sold a few months back. Awal Dauda has the details.
Pepper is a spice that is widely used in the kitchen due to its sharp and spicy taste, usually made from the dried berries of the pepper plant, mainly grown in some parts of India, Indonesia, Nigeria, among others. Speaking to Kwara TV News, a pepper seller Fatima Adebayo disclosed that a big basket of tomatoes now goes between 10,000 and 15,000 naira as against 70,000 naira sold few months ago. She added that a small laundry basket now goes for 3,500 naira as smaller quantities goes between 1,000 to 200 naira.
Àsìkò rẹ̀ la wà báyìí o, àsìkò rẹ̀ la wà. Kọ́mọ àti odò àti sọ̀gún gbogbo ẹ̀ pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ báyìí. Àpò odò ní sí ara 25, ara 30. Tẹ́lẹ̀ ara 70, ara 80.
Another seller, Toyiba Ibrahim, said a big bag of rodo now goes between 20,000 to 25,000 naira against 70,000 to 80,000 naira sold some months back. For Tatashe and Shogun, a big each container is now sold at the rate of 20,000 naira respectively.
Basket tomato la ní sí báyìí ní sí ní tomato la báyìí ní sí ara 30, ara 35. Àmọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ara 50, ara 70. Rodo tẹ́lẹ̀ ara 90, ara 100. Àmọ́ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí ara 30, ara 25.
They both attributed the price reduction to seasonal. Wow, Dauda, Kwara TV News.
Welcome to our sports desk. The Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna State has secured provisional hosting rights for the 29th Nigerian University Games scheduled for the 2028, marking a return of the biennial event to the institution after more than 2 decades. The Nigerian University Games Association brings together student athletes from universities across the country to compete in various sporting events aimed at talent discovery and youth development. The provisional hosting rights were conveyed in a letter addressed to the Vice Chancellor of ABU by the Acting Secretary General of the Noga Games, Yunusa Baza, following the approval of the association's council. This letter, cited by newsmen in Kaduna on Friday, stated that the award was subject to the signing of a memorandum of agreement between the university and Noga, while the council would announce the specific dates for the games in due course. Receiving the letter, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ahmadu Ahmed, expressed excitement over the developments, describing it as a major boost to the university's sporting profile. He added that the university was approaching the task with a clear understanding of what the federal government expects from the sports industry in terms of development and economic impact. He also noted that sports had evolved beyond leisure into a multi-billion-dollar global industry, pledging that ABU would maintain a strong working relationship with NUGA before, during, and after the games to ensure their success.
And for world news, authorities have intercepted more than 780 migrants attempting to use the Gambia as a launch pad to Europe. The Interior Ministry said on Friday, after a capsized migrant boat off the coast killed more than 30 people, tens of thousands of people, most of them young, have tried to reach Europe from West Africa in recent years, mainly via the Spanish Canary Islands on overcrowded and often dilapidated boats. Spokesman for the Gambia Immigration Department, Simon Lowe, told newsmen that the operation began on January 3rd after at least 31 people were killed when an overloaded migrant boat capsized overnight on New Year Eve. Migrant boats have recently been forced to leave from further south in West Africa, notably from the Gambia and Guinea, after Senegal, Mauritania and Morocco increased maritime patrols. Among those intercepted were 233 people from Senegal, 197 from Gambia, 176 from Guinea, and 148 from Mali. And that report concludes our package from the English desk. Over to Yaya for Labari.
Gwamnati ya fite ha gane ke dai wa game lacica na ke ewu na yammaci ewu ya lashi kayayen pipewaje bai yi buru ya katun to na ala ekwanshe da bin ya mankata ya eti amfani ya ji bai takada gbaci na ji ya ji amfani bai yi mankata jina na tiya nimi wasika na tiya dagwata egwa wuce nusa ya labari to isanwo ya ekanlela dan pipewa tin abuna bori owo fola shade domin wuce na agungwa dangwana dubaji ya gwala pipewa likita maruf alausa to dubaji ya eka pipewa ne ladan pipewa kin tachina manko Suwaiba Ahmed latula ke nana de ebeje taribe yiyeji na jide ebeje gwala ya pipewa kin Nigeria na ma ake ewo wuci na yammaci de ewu rashi takadari na dobage wuci bazalo ke game wuci ina aladan igboro ala kin gije kagbobe ya takada gbigbaci na afejin amfani biyu taciyan ya guni lo ya gutsun ina na ma ake ijigwa kan etun lofe takada gbaci de makata zayo na bicipe wunce ta agan ndabo na la kaya karatu de trajin ya yamanci na ji afeshi na ma ake jin zumatu de ya ejivo na ndasako ya eka ne laida kulia chekin abuna igan INEC na monko Jos Amo Pitan de kungba yegbana ke de kulia che zakama ya gba tu gbawo diguta ina dedeji de adago be amfani jibe kaya zaman make latula ke county de aji dabe alibo sapandudu dan shiri kulia cheba mfe baza na ekaye yame nya ecounty na beje kin Lagos nya yagbatu eshi begusu na be na eloye tachiya fogutoni do fogu imi etwade na ifira amupta latula kede INEC de ajishiri ya kuliache na ebeda yiburu na unga delipe de ya zawangije kin Nigeria no ndaji sere ya etunlo chiji INEC eti kokari na jida kuliache nyakin anabra na be ije chwagu benimi eya na gugana on latula kede kuliache uncha yi na pele nime kuliaje na ji ebe bihina amupita ke latula kede ekpajide dambani ya kuliache nye ya gbatu gbawo din guta na agache kulia unche to nama a shirin ce de dabo na agache kulia ya katatako ejifonya Abuja nimi eya dina yifidana shirin ce gata nga a kejin amfani bayan kulia ce yakin Ekiti to Ọ̀ṣun ndasako de latula kede account de ya ekpagutun de lachichani na ajigwa kan ya account na ji fifu gaskiya elatu gaskiya to dedeji da kuliya ce na ji abidan yegboro na gaba da ba jama'a musulmi jana na akegan be etin yepe to na alotun wangije be kendo echusuko de wona na ye kutuba na beje masalaci jumanya mufuat akabi dagwata ndalima Muhammad Awal Bodofu na ayyuka ya juma ya inanin Suleiman Azan da masalaci jumanca ya etumba Kwara TV umuawiya ke na umfeje kutuba na ndaliman Muhammad Awal Bodofu baza eti enade ala zawangi de ke gabe eti yepeke na muhilefi nchiko daga eba ya tusuko na ma'ajin enyi tunwange na danwa daga lona na jama'a musulmi kede a kyagan be alibo dojin nana ke nana hajin wani tunwange na ezaga lo ba tusuko mela alubarika yoto de benin liman gbodofu kwabe jamanji na adan boye danwa dojo to na abebe wuceje de ya yigi dojo kenan na hajin edin alubarika bin daga ko tusuko ndaka ya jama musulmi jigamba na adan wuce yigi dojo be kendo game adini islam de be biyu na liman zuma kutuba da liman shi na filara ka guba na ya juma na da kuma adini ji cije na ji ba be labari ko cije masalan cije mucana de latula ke kutuba ci yina sanatu to na a ke gan be elije na ji de goyana etu ya ilori lekita Ibrahim Sulu Gambari paloniana ya Alhaji Suleiman ọmọ Káyọ̀dé Abdulwahab Ajikobi ke Balógun Ajikobi gobe guteci ilori abunanama nwabi nlagosun tukun gaskiya na Ilorin Emirate da ya etiwona labari kace Fatima Rashid dan ekanyoncho ya etumba Kwara TV mo wuyan kede ekanyonchi gugayan lonije eza chimonje eyaje yalije to emopacheje ya Balógun Ajikobi woro wuyan ke unyi lokaci yan gbafa bina eza chimonje yalije eyaje to emopacheje yekan kadambanya etuyan elore Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari ya lonipa na Alhaji Suleiman ọmọ Káyọ̀dé Abdulwahab Ajikobi gobe gutaci ya ilori etu ya ilori na mfeche jewafina wabe Balógun Ajikobi woronci na waji amfani be epo woro na alutana nuga wayi gborolo de ya Ilorin Emirate na etu gichuncha deke ji amfani kanyonci abji aduwa eti edufe lafiya yegborolo to yangbufa ya Ilorin Emirate to kin Kwara chode gangari ya Balógun Ajikobi woronci gangba na wapama niniji be ndaji chuje to magajiji na jide dan gwalubo na ti etra de ya eji nke wa be twenpa to ndaji chuje na jidan gwapubo na ashitupa halibo sakwaje to ega woroje na ji chode ga loje na ji alaizo debe ya shiri etrade kin abuna nimi za chimaji na ji balabe labari kuci na lani mato yan gbafa tula lo ba Balógun Ajikobi wuro ya ilori a ci wabi na walotun be gaskiya na dai aya eti wani a wabi na waloye be niniji to bebe ilimi pipe ejoshici na alaye borolo debe ya Ilorin Emirate na muchofe bazana Balógun Ajikobi wuro ya ilori Alhaji Suleiman ọmọ Káyọ̀dé Abdulwahab Ajikobi dajisere ya etusuko eti efo nada mafe beyu jina nla nima to eboju tula loba etu ya ilori uncije alika likede wọn loye be tsukun gaskiya na dai a launa Balógun Ajikobi woro gobe gutace yeza na fe shiti ejifo ya ikpaye shibo na ma yetu daboke nga a kefe loye na washiti ikpaye na yin fa da bana ya nzagije katatako be na iwo lekun ya kawani a cijin be lokaci na idan gba ni lana be ziza ya labari kuci lo juko ya ipata na ci ilori abona yi eduta kin Kwara na lawukide ewo lekun ya kawani na a cijin gana fekun etraje dedan zumana awa dauda na ko labari na yakana latula kide yaka de yi niyani na eji amfani bayin kata takona eji amfani bayin yeko to wuci na ma eju kin India Indonesia Nigeria to kin dochijo na afe balabe labari kuce ya ka kunce Fatima Adebayo latula kede kansa unchiko ya tomato gbani ina ekun ewo jika shitun be tu aratana nama afe kunle ewo jika shitun guta atu jika arata etraje dedan zumana mbaza loye kede kansa tetengi ta na àfikún ewó jìká gbòòjì bẹ́gúbẹ́ bẹ̀gán fi ṣìwó náà iná èkún ewó jìká bùtún tó jìká tó ná pípàchì ní èkún jìká bùtún tó jìká nìní gbà nínú yàká kùchì ńdọ̀chibẹ́ tọ́ ìbá Ibrahim náà tó fẹ́ ìbàdàn náà ńlá tó làkédé jìká nchukwu nya rodo na àfikún ekún gbá ní ewó jìká ṣìtún tó ewó jìká ṣìtún àtó jìká ṣìtún jìká ṣì bẹ̀gùtún náà àfikún lé ewó jìká ṣìtún gúta àtó jìká arata tó ewó jìká ṣìtún gbóni ètò àjẹ dídán zùmọ́nà ọ̀gá tàtàṣe tó ṣọ̀gùn ina ekun ewó jìká ṣìtún gbá nínú ají nínú yeba lókèjì ní yàká na ìdán gbá nínú. Gbanam ilé labarin lóṣun ní kanáà ní kí á dábàá alápò náà gba ibi mísún ẹ̀jì náà alápò.
ọ̀sẹ̀ ohun kò ló eré ọ̀rẹ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí Muhammad Jamiu Alápò ló kọ́ mi. Ìjọba àpapọ̀ ti sísọ lójú ètò kan tí wọ́n ní yóò kẹnu tí yóò sì rí sí ìsàdínkù owó gọbọi tí àwọn òbí ń ná lórí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ èyí tí yóò tún ṣàgbéga àbájáde ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àti àmúgbòrò bá ìdúróore àwọn iléèwé gba ti ìsàmúlò àwọn ìwé tí ó pójú owó tí wọ́n pè ní textbook àti ìmúgbòrò bá ìpójú owó ìlànà ètò ẹ̀kọ́. Eléyìí ló wà nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan tó jẹ́ ìbuwọ́lù lọ́jọ́ Ẹtì látọwọ́ adarí fún ètò ìròyìn àti ọ̀rọ̀ aráàlú ní iléeṣẹ́ tó ní sí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ Borí Owó Fọláṣadé. Ìlànà ọ̀hún tó jẹ́ àjùmọ̀ buwọ́lù àgbéjáde mínísítà fétò ẹ̀kọ́ Dókítà Maruf Aláùsá àti mínísítà kejì fétò ẹ̀kọ́ Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Suwaiba Ahmed èyí tí ó wà tó dá lórí àtúntò tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ sí ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́ àti ìsàdínkù ìnira tó wà fún àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí lórí àǹfọ̀mọ́sílẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́. Àwọn mínísítà náà ṣàlàyé wípé ìlànà ọ̀hún ni yóò ṣàmúlò lílo ohun tó pójú owó àwọn ìwé textbook tí yóò wà láàrin ọdún 4 sí ọdún 6 fún lílò nígbà tí yóò tún kóró ojú sí lílo ìwé kan láàrin sáà kan ṣoṣo fún akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kan. Ètò náà ni wọ́n fi ń bójú wo ìṣàrídájú pé àwọn èròjà ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ló ṣe é tún lò fún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ sáà tí yóò ṣàtìlẹ́yìn fún ìmúdúró àyíká. Alága fún àjọ elétò ìdìbò ilé wa Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Josh Amopitan tí ó jẹ́ àgbà ọ̀jẹ̀ amòfin ló ti jẹ́jẹ́ wípé ètò ìdìbò gbogbogbò ọdún 2027 ni yóò lọ ní ìrọwọ́rọsẹ̀ tí yóò sì jẹ́ gbangba làṣáátá tí yóò tún ṣàmúlò ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ ìgbàlódé léyìí tó kéde wípé àjọ ọ̀hún kò ní fààyè gba àṣemáṣe lásìkò ètò ìdìbò ọ̀hún. Nígbà tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó níbi ètò wẹ̀jẹwẹ̀mu tọdún 2026 fún àjọ ọ̀hún ní èyí tó wáyé ní ọjọ́ 9 tí yóò sì parí lọ́jọ́ 10 oṣù kẹ́ni tá a wà yìí. Amopitan sọ pé àjọ INEC ti ń gbáradì láti ṣe àtúntò fún ètò ìdìbò tí yóò sì mú ìrètí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Ó dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ INEC fún iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ṣe ní takuntakun níbi ètò ìdìbò gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Anambra lóṣù kọkànlá ọdún 2025 léyìí tí ó pè gẹ́gẹ́ bí àsìkò ọ̀tun nínú sáà rẹ̀. Amopitan tọ́ka wípé ojú ọ̀nà sí ètò ìdìbò ọdún 2027 ni yóò gba àyípadà kọjá tí yóò lápa nínú ètò ìdìbò gbogbogbò tí ẹ mọ́ ti ètò ìdìbò ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ ní olúùlú ilẹ̀ wa tí yóò wáyé ní oṣù kejì ọdún 2026 àti ti àwọn gómìnà tí yóò wáyé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì àti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Àwọn mùsùlùmí ni wọ́n ti pàrọwà sí láti yàgò fún ìwà ìgbéraga kí wọ́n sì ṣàrídájú pé gbogbo iṣẹ́ dáadáa tí wọ́n bá ń ṣe ni kó jẹ́ torí Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah. Eléyìí ni ara kókó wá sí látẹnu ìmáàmù Mufuwati masalasi Mufuwati Àkànbí Imam Muhammad Awal Gbodofu lásìkò ìrun Jímọ̀ tòní. Suleiman Hassan ni ó péjú síbẹ̀ fún ìkọ̀ròyìn iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV tí ó sì mú ìròyìn wá pé nínú kútúbà rẹ̀ ni Imam Muhammad Awal Gbodofu ló ti tẹnumọ́ wípé ìgbéraga ló jẹ́ ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kékeré tí máa da iṣẹ́ dáadáa ẹ nínú. Ó wá ṣèkìlọ̀ fáwọn mùsùlùmí láti yàgò fún àwọn irú ìwà bẹ́ẹ̀ nítọ́ka wípé iṣẹ́ dáadáa téèyàn bá ṣe nítorí Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah nìkan ni yóò rí ẹ̀san rẹ̀ gbà tí ó sì jẹ́ ìtẹ́wọ́gbà. ìmáàmù Gbódòfò tún ké sí àwọn jàmáà láti máa fi ẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn sọ́mọlàkejì kí wọ́n sì máa rántí wípé Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah nìkan ni máa ń ṣe ìkẹ́fúnni. ní pàápàá ó gbé àmọ̀ràn kalẹ̀ fáwọn mùsùlùmí láti jẹ́ aláàánú sí ọmọlàkejì wọn o nígbà tí wọ́n bá tún tẹ̀lé ìlànà ẹ̀kọ́ ẹ̀sìn Islam. ìmáàmù náà ló padà ṣáájú láti kí rákà méjì tó jẹ́ ọ̀ranyàn ìrun jímọ̀. àwọn olùjọ́sìn tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV sọ̀rọ̀ ni wọ́n júwe wáàsí náà bíi ìpè ìtanijí àti ìkìlọ̀ ńlá tako ìwà ìgbéraga. Ẹ̀míà ìlú Ìlọrin dókítà Ibrahim Zulugambari ti wé láwàní fún Alhaji Suleiman Ọmọkáyọ̀dé Abdulwahab Ajíkòbí gẹ́gẹ́ bí balógun Ajíkòbí ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹtàlá tìlú Ìlọrin tó sì ké sí láti di òpó ìgbàgbọ́ tí wọ́n ní nínú rẹ̀ mú. Olùjábọ̀ wa Fatima Rasheed jábọ̀ wípé ayẹyẹ ọ̀hún lórí ìpéjú sí àwọn orí adé ọrùn lẹ̀kẹ̀ àwọn tó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ jọlà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mọ̀lẹ́bí àtàwọn akẹgbẹ́ balógun Ajíkòbí tuntun ọ̀hún àsìkò ayọ̀ ló jẹ́ tó sì jẹ́ mọ̀lẹ́ gbàgbé gẹ́gẹ́ bí lógúnlọ́gbọ̀n mọ̀lẹ́bí lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ akẹgbẹ́ ṣe péjú sí ààfin Ẹ̀míà ìlú Ìlọrin Alhaji Ibrahim Zulugambari láti péjú síbi wíwé láwàní Alhaji Suleiman Ọmọkáyọ̀dé Abdulwahab Ajíkòbí gẹ́gẹ́ bí balógun Ajíkòbí kẹtàlá fún ìlú Ìlọrin. Ẹ̀míà ìlú Ìlọrin nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ ló ké sí balógun Ajíkòbí tuntun láti rí ipò rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpèníjà láti fi kópa tiẹ̀ sí ìdàgbàsókè ìlú Ìlọrin. ọ̀bàlàyé ọ̀hún lo àkókò náà láti fi ṣàdúrà fún àlàáfíà àgbéga àti ìdàgbàsókè ìlú Ìlọrin àti ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara lápapọ̀ tó sì gbé àmọ̀ràn kalẹ̀ fún balógun Ajíkòbí láti sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn dáúdù àtàwọn mọ́gàjí lágbègbè rẹ̀ láti ṣàrídájú pé àlàáfíà wà láàyè wọn. ó ké sí àwọn dáúdù mọ́gàjí aláǹgbá àtàwọn olóyè tó kù láti rí wípé wọ́n mọ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láyìíká wọn pàápàá nínú ẹsẹ̀ àwọn àjèjì tó bá wà láyìíká wọn kó mọ̀ dúnkòkò fún ètò ààbò àwọn olùgbé. ara wọn tó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ jọlà fún tó wà níbi ayẹyẹ ọ̀hún tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV sọ̀rọ̀ ni wọ́n kí balógun Ajíkòbí tuntun náà kú oríire tí wọ́n sì rọ̀ láti di òpó ìjólóòtọ́ mú. wọ́n tún ké sí i láti tẹ̀síwájú ipò adarí tí wọ́n ti mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ kí ó sì fààyè gba tẹrútọmọ fún ìdàgbàsókè ìlú Ìlọrin. balógun Ajíkòbí tuntun ọ̀hún Alhaji Suleiman Ọmọkáyọ̀dé Abdulwahab Ajíkòbí ni ó dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run Ọba fún ọjọ́ òní tó sì tún fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn sí Ẹ̀míà ìlú Ìlọrin léyìí tó jẹ́jẹ́ láti tẹ̀síwájú ìnígbàgbọ́ tí wọ́n ní nínú rẹ̀. balógun Ajíkòbí kẹtàlá ọ̀hún ṣáájú kí wọ́n tó yàn án ní olórí ẹkùn Ìpàyẹ́ tí ìrètí sì wà pé yóò tún máa tẹ̀ síwájú láti darí agbègbè Ìpàyẹ́. ogunlọ́gọ̀ àwọn olùgbé abúlé ọlọ́kà níjọba ìbílẹ̀ Oríire nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ni wọ́n ti sá kúrò ní ilé ìgbé wọn láti wá bòmí ìforípamọ́ sí. ìdàgbàsókè yìí ló wá lẹ́yìn wákàtí mélòó kan tí àwọn afurasí agbébọnjà ṣekú pa àwọn aṣọ́gbó 5 ní inú igbó Old Ọ̀yọ́ National Park. inú igbó ọ̀hún ló wà ní ẹgbẹ́ ìlú abúlé ọlọ́kà ní ẹkùn Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. ìrántí wà wípé àwọn agbébọnjà ọ̀hún ni wọ́n ṣínà bọ́bọlẹ̀ tí wọ́n sì ṣekú pa aṣọ́gbó 5 ní alẹ́ ọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun. àjọ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún nínú ìgbàlátà rẹ̀ ló fìdí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà múlẹ̀ nípa ìṣekúpa aṣọ́gbó 5. alukoro àjọ ọlọ́pàá nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ Ọláyínká Àyànládé nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan tó tẹ àwọn oníròyìn lọ́wọ́ sọ wípé kọmíṣánná àjọ ọlọ́pàá Fẹ́mi Haruna ti ṣàbẹ̀wò sí ààyè ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún. ó tún fi kún wípé kọmíṣánná ọ̀hún ti pàṣẹ kíkó àlékún àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ààbò lọ sí agbègbè náà. ẹ̀wẹ̀ àwọn olùgbé abúlé ọlọ́kà níbi tí igbó ọ̀hún wà ni wọ́n ti ya kúrò nílé wọn ò látìgbà tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà ti ṣẹlẹ̀. ìjábọ̀ sọ pé tòun ti ìlérí àti ẹ̀jẹ́ fún àlékún ètò ààbò lágbègbè ọ̀hún ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn olùgbé náà ni wọn ò tí ì padà sí ilé ìkó wa wọn títí di àsìkò ìkó ìròyìn jọ lọ́jọ́ Ẹtì. nípínlẹ̀ Kwara gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara Abdulrahman Abdulrazak ni ó ti banújẹ́ lórí ikú adarí àgbà fún àjọ tó ń rí sí ètò ọ̀gbìn àti ìgbàlódé rẹ̀ ìyẹn National Center for Agriculture and Mechanization NCAM yíyún dókítà Abdulgafar Kamal. àtìjáde kan látọwọ́ agbákọ̀wé ìròyìn sí gómìnà Rafiu Ọ̀jàkáyé. gómìnà júwe ikú dókítà náà gẹ́gẹ́ bí àdánù ńlá fún ìpínlẹ̀ yìí àti orílẹ̀-èdè yìí lápapọ̀. ó nawọ́ ìbánikẹ́dùn sí mọ̀lẹ́bí olóògbé, àwọn èèyàn ìpínlẹ̀ yìí, àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àti ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ àjọ NCAM. gómìnà Abdulrazak wá ṣàdúrà sí Ọlọ́run Allah kí ó tẹ́wọ́ gba dókítà Kamal sí Aljanna Firdaus ó sì fún mọ̀lẹ́bí rẹ̀ ní okun láti gba àdánù náà mọ́ra. nípínlẹ̀ Èdó ẹ̀ka ìpínlẹ̀ Edo fún àjọ tí ó ń rí sí ètò ìlera ti òyìnbó nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà NMA ló ti kéde sísẹ́wélé gbogbo iṣẹ́ ìṣègùn òyìnbó jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọjọ́ 10 ọjọ́ sátidé oṣù kínní ọdún 2026 yìí lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n jí dókítà méjì gbé. Ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀hún sọ wípé ìgbésẹ̀ náà ló ṣe pàtàkì láti fi fẹ̀hónú hàn tako àìrájájá ètò ààbò tó ń fi ojoojúmọ́ peléke sí àti àkọlù lemọ́lemọ́ sáwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ìlera nípínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún. Alága ẹgbẹ́ NMA nípínlẹ̀ Edo dókítà Eustace Oshegale sọ ilé ìdí mímọ̀ nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan lọ́jọ́ Ẹtì lẹ́yìn tó ní àwọn dókítà ní ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún ni wọn ò lè fọwọ́sọ̀yà lórí ètò ààbò wọn mọ́ nígbà tí wọ́n bá wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́. Ó sọ wípé ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìjínigbé tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí èyí tí wáyé ní ọjọ́ kìíní àti ọjọ́ kejì oṣù kìíní ló ti tún dá ìbẹ̀rùbojo sílẹ̀ lọ́kàn àyà àwọn onímọ̀ ìṣègùn ètò ìlera tí ó sì ti ń pè fún àlékún ètò ààbò. Ọ̀kan nínú àwọn tí wọ́n jí gbé torúkọ rẹ̀ ń jẹ́ dókítà Babátúndé Àbú ni wọ́n jí gbé ní ìlú Auchi nígbà tí àwọn tí wọ́n jí gbé sì ń béèrè fún $100 mílíọ̀nù gẹ́gẹ́ bí owó ìtanràn. Òṣègalè sọ wípé ìdàgbàsókè ọ̀hún ni ó ti fi hàn wípé kò sí ètò ààbò fún àwọn dókítà mọ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èdó láti pé ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀hún kò lè padà sẹ́nu iṣẹ́ o títí dìgbà tí wọ́n fi rí ìfarajìn látọ̀dọ̀ àjọ tó yẹ lórí ètò ààbò àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ wọn àti ìtúsílẹ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n jí gbé. Ẹgbẹ́ náà wá rọ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èdó àti àwọn àjọ elétò ààbò láti pọnkún ìlàkàkà wọn láti ṣàrídájú pé ìtúsílẹ̀ wà fún àwọn tí wọ́n jí gbé kí wọ́n sì dènà irú ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ sí àwọn àyè ètò ìlera ní ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún. Ìjọba àpapọ̀ ti fi ẹ̀mí ìbànújẹ́ hàn lórí ikú àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà méjì níbi àkọlù ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ èyí tó wáyé ní ilẹ̀ United Kingdom àti Canada ní àwọn ọjọ́ kùtù ọdún tuntun. Nígbà tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ gba ti Abdulrahman Balogun tó jẹ́ olórí ètò ìròyìn àti ọ̀rọ̀ aráàlú nínú àjọ tí ó rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tán wà nílẹ̀ òkèrè yíwọ̀n alága àjọ náà Àbíkẹ́ Dábìrẹ̀rẹwà júwe ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà bí èyí tí ó bani lẹ́rù tó sì bani nínú jẹ́. Ó nawọ́ ìbánikẹ́dùn sí àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí àtàwọn olólùfẹ́ àwọn tó fara kásá ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà lásìkò ìnira yìí. Dábìrẹ̀rẹwà tún kan sára sí ìgbésẹ̀ kánmọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ àjọ ọlọ́pàá ilẹ̀ UK àti ti Toronto èyí tó pè fún ìwádìí sí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún lọ́fíntótó. Ó tún ìrántí wà wípé John Tèmítọ́pẹ́ Ọ̀nẹ́tùfọ̀ ẹni ọdún 23 tó jẹ́ ọmọ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ni wọ́n gún lọ́bẹ títí di ojú ikú ní alẹ́ àìsùn ọdún tuntun ní ìlú Lewisham ní agbègbè Lewisham nílùú London nígbàtí ti ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ Canada ló kan Ọ̀sẹ̀nwégè Ìrórèrè ẹni ọdún 54 tí wọ́n yìn ìbọn fún tí ó sì gbabẹ̀ sọdá sí ọ̀run ní agbègbè Yorkdale nílùú Toronto ní ọjọ́ àìkú tí ṣe ọjọ́ 4 oṣù kínní ọdún 2026. Ní àkótán kí àwọn ìyàwó ilé kí wọ́n máa ṣe ọbẹ̀ tí ó dùn báyìí tó jẹ́ sọkọyọkọ̀tọ̀ tí kì í mú ọkọ wòta lókù báyìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí owó ata sì ti já wálẹ̀ ní gidi gan. Ikọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV ló ṣàbẹ̀wò sí ọjà Àpáta nílùú Ìlọrin olúlu ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tí ìjábọ̀ sì fi hàn wípé owó èròjà yìí tó ṣe pàtàkì nínú ọbẹ̀ ni ó ti dínkù jọjọ káfíwé ti oṣù mélòó kan sẹ́yìn. Awáwù Dáúdà ni ó kó ìròyìn jọ tó sì mú wá pé ata ṣe pàtàkì o nínú ilé ìdáná látàrí ipa tó ń kó nínú ọbẹ̀ tó dùn èyí tí ó sì jẹ́ nǹkan tí wọ́n ń gbìn ní apá ilẹ̀ India, Indonesia àti apá kan ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Nígbà tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ Kwara TV sọ̀rọ̀ olùtajà ata kan yíhun Fatima Adébáyọ̀ sọ di mímọ̀ wípé apẹ̀rẹ̀ ńlá ata tòmẹ́tò ni ó ti wà ní $80 káfíwé $70 èyí tí wọ́n ń tà lóṣù mélòó kan sẹ́yìn. Ó tó fi kún wípé apẹ̀rẹ̀ kékeré kan ni wọ́n ń tà ní $350 èyí tí àwọn kéékèèké òdiwọ̀n kéékèèké sì jẹ́ $1,000 tó yẹ mọ́ $200 péré. Olùtajà míì Tọ́yìbá Ibrahim sọ wípé àpò ńlá rodo tí ni wọ́n ń tà ní $20 èyí tí ó ti wá yàtọ̀ sí $50 sí $60 èyí tí wọ́n ń tà ní àwọn oṣù mélòó kan sẹ́yìn fún ti tàtàṣé àti ṣọ̀gún tí àpò ńlá wọn sì wà ní ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà 20 náírà báyìí. Wọ́n so àdínkù yìí mọ́ àkókò tá a wà yìí, èyí tí wọ́n ní ó rọrùn fún àwọn ìyàwó ilé láti máa ṣe ọbẹ̀ tó dùn sí ọkọ wọn lẹ́nu. Pẹ̀lú ìròyìn ata yìí ni a fi kásẹ̀ ìròyìn wa fún ti alẹ́ òní. Bùsáyọ̀ Àwẹ̀dá àti Tósìn àbọ̀mí rèé o.
Well done, Alapo. And this is where we are rounding it up on Kwara TV main bulletin. We sincerely appreciate you for being part of it. From Yaya.
To ya fe da ni sai sun ya ke fila labaru wo jibe no sun mi kolo jia ya esla skwa yele.
Ọlátúnni Akọ̀tún ìròyìn míì yóò mọ̀ wá sí ojú wòran yìí títí ìgbà náà Muhammad Jamiu Alakolo ní eré kàǹkà kó mọ̀ sọ́lẹ̀ sọ́rọ̀ dẹ̀kọ́ wà ó dàárọ̀.
And that's it on the news. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Tosin Adioye. Good evening.
And hi, I'm Busayo. Thanks for watching. Good night.